Kia ora koutou, ko Angela Caves tōku ingoa, no mai, haere mai. Welcome to the Central North Island Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference. My name is Angela Caves and I'm the Partnership and Events Lead for Digital Boost. It's my pleasure to be hosting you this afternoon. Welcome to our audience who have joined us here in the webinar, and a warm welcome to anybody who might be joining via a live stream on either Facebook, LinkedIn or YouTube. Thank you for tuning in to hear all about the breadth of support that is available to the business community of the Central North Island region. On the webinar this afternoon with me is my co-host, Melissa. Melissa is an employment liaison advisor from our collaborating partner organisation, connected.govt.nz. Melissa's going to take us through some webinar housekeeping and then introduce our guest presenters for this afternoon. Welcome, Melissa.
Kia ora, thank you. So kia ora everybody, for those of you who are joining us on the webinar, just a quick FYI, you can see and hear us, but unfortunately we can't see or hear you, but not to worry. If you've got any questions, comments, please feel free to just pop them in the chat box or the question and answer box down in the bottom of your screen, and we will address those at the end of this presentation. Also, these sessions have been recorded and will be uploaded to the YouTube playlist on the Digital Boost channel for post-viewing. And all registered attendees will be provided a link via email for this lovely wee session. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Janelle and Maria from Te Puni Kōkiri. Kia ora.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Janelle Hiro tikanei tōku ingoa, he reo o Ngāti Rangi a te haunui a Paparangi me Ngāti Apanga Wairiki. He kaito'u matua au mō te Puni Kōkiri o te Tai Hauaru I roto I tēnei kaupapa o Regional Economic Development. So kia ora everyone, my name is Janelle. I'm based in the Whanganui Regional Office for Te Puni Kōkiri. And I'm currently a senior advisor within the Regional Economic Development Team. Kia ora no tātou, Maria.
Kia ora, kia ora koutou, ko Maria Kiri tōku ingoa, ko au te kaitohu matua Pākihi Māori no te Tai Hauaru, Te Puni Kōkiri, he uri ahau no Ngāpuhi me Tūhoi, engari e noho ana ahau I te whanganui aka. No reira kahuri. So my name's Maria. I'm one of the Māori Enterprise senior advisors for Te Tai Hauaru, and I'm currently based in our head office, which is in Wellington, but I did quite a bit of travel up to our Whanganui office, up into New Plymouth, and down again. So yeah, kia ora koutou.
Kia ora Maria. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen. So today, Maria and I are just going to discuss the various ways in which Te Puni Kōkiri can support our enterprise and workforce, our Māori workforce, and that is mainly through our Regional Economic Development Team and Māori Enterprise Team. So first things first. This is our Te Tai Hauaru Regional Economic Development Team. We are a strong team of 4 and we actually cover quite a broad rohe. So our region starts in the upper reaches of the Ruapehu, down to the Rangitike, across to Taranaki, down to Whanganui, down to the Manawatu, Horowhenua, as well as the Kapiti, Otaki, Rohe, down to Te Upoko o Te Ika, so Wellington, across over to Te Tauihu, so our Wakatu, Nelson, Tasman region, and we also look after our Chatham Islands. So yeah, that's our team. You can contact any of our team by getting in touch with our regional office email, or you can call us. These details are available on the TPK website. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to walk in and meet with someone at any of our regional offices. So what do we do here at TPK? TPK is the government's principal policy advisor on Māori wellbeing and development. Regionally, we support regional Māori economic resilience, and we do this by leading, investing, and brokering support for our Māori communities towards economic prosperity. We do this by sustaining relationships with various regional and agency stakeholders for the benefit of kaimai and Pākehī Māori, so for the benefit of our Māori workforce and our Māori businesses. So there's various ways in which we can do that. We meet directly with businesses and business owners, and depending on where they are within their business life cycle or journey and where they want to be, we try and connect them up with other people within our networks or agency networks to help them along the way. More directly, though, we invest in distributing cadetship funding to businesses who wish to support the professional growth of their staff. So the Cadetship Fund is a professional development program that allows permanent kaimai Māori the opportunity to upskill formally and informally while on the job. Traditionally, you know, we acknowledge the benefits that formal professional development can provide for people. The difference with cadetships is that this provides context and an on-the-job kind of context for people to be able to do this. So this is achieved by designing and delivering a professional development program that is tailored to meet the mentoring, training, and development needs of a cadet to progress into a successive role. So this means we like to make sure that people can identify kaimai or people within their team that are aspiring to move into more senior or leadership roles, or maybe have been identified as people who can move into more senior and leadership roles. Overall, though, the intent is to ensure that more of our Māori workforce is highly skilled and therefore resilient to systemic disruption. For example, making sure they can bounce back faster through things such as COVID. And the way in which we try to achieve that within this cadetship funding is by moving our low-skilled workforce into a more high-skilled workforce. So within Te Tai Hauaru, 44% of our Māori workforce actually sits within the low-skilled low-skilled jobs. Historically, we have seen that when we do come faced with systemic disruption, like a pandemic or a recession, quite often those within low-skilled jobs are the first to lose their jobs, and then they're also the last to get back into mahi. So the impacts that this has on our Māori communities is quite massive. So being able to utilise cadetships to then bring people into more highly skilled jobs is basically what the Cadetship Fund is trying to achieve. So things to know about our Cadetship Fund is that cadets must be permanent kaimai Māori. We do consider new recruits, but we also have to assess the reality of being able to upskill a new recruit into a successive or leadership role within the time that the program's kind of delivered, and also acknowledging that this goes above and beyond normal onboarding or induction processes and training. The program needs to be delivered across a minimum of 6 months. It can go for longer than that if that's what the employer requires, or if that's what the cadet requires. And as mentioned before, you must provide a tailored professional development plan to meet the needs of the kaimai and the organisation. This includes identifying formal upskilling pathways, informal ways of upskilling, and also specific mentoring opportunities for them to access. You can access up to $10,000 per full-time permanent cadet. We do consider part-time cadets, however, this is at a prorated rate. We generally only contract with registered legal entities, so our limited liabilities. Unfortunately, contractors and sole traders generally aren't accepted for this funding criteria. And this funding is only accessible once in a cadet's working life. That's why we make sure that when we're working with our employers or Pākehī, that they have considered all of the above things that we've just discussed. The application build to contracting can take up to 9 weeks. It's a pretty full-on process. And if you want to learn more about this, you can visit our TPK website. If you just search TPK cadetships, it's likely to be the first hit on your Google search. So just click into that and you'll find more information there. And also you'll see our cadetship application form in there too. Overall, though, I do recommend that you reach into any of your regional advisors or TPK advisors to support you throughout their application build, because they do understand the criteria a lot better, and it's usually better to sit with someone and discuss these things or set up some time to work through the application process. Kia ora no tātou, that's cadetships, and over to you, Maria.
Hi. Kia ora, Janelle. So also within our region of Te Taihawauru for Te Puni Kōkiri, we have our Māori Enterprise team. So we're a nationally led team, but we have 2 senior advisors per rohe. So as Janelle had explained for Te Taihawauru, it's quite a massive area. So we work quite closely with our regional economic development team to just make sure we're trying to reach out across our region for support. So supporting Māori enterprises to thrive is our key output for Te Puni Kōkiri, providing services by Māori, for Māori and with Māori to support growth and sustainability. My other hoa mahi in the region is Holly Parikowhai, who passes on her apologies for not being able to attend today. Bye. Awesome. So the aim for our Pākehī Māori to come in and support our Māori enterprise or our Māori businesses is to build their capacity and capability to ensure they're supported to thrive in different areas of management, finance, strategy, marketing and sales, risk assessment and digital capability. One of the main funding arms, as Janelle had covered off, like with the cadetship programs, we kind of focus on the Māori Business Growth Fund, which can help support this. Unfortunately, it's not for operational or capital purchases. It's really to come in and identify the specialist need to build that capability with our Māori businesses. So we go through a little bit of an engagement process, like Janelle said. Easier, just contact us and then we can work with you to shape up an application and go through the different criteria. And also just to have that kōrero about where some of those focuses are to support Māori enterprise, then the capability to support them as well.
No, it didn't, but
okay, so in terms of supporting Māori in business, we do still encourage, so the criteria is for existing Pākehī that have that are established, they're a legal entity, they're set up, and they're kind of, if you think of like a hei potama approach, they're kind of wanting to kind of step up and go to the next level, and they might need that advice, support, and possibly specialist advice to come in and support that growth or that next level of hei potama. But we do encourage our startup businesses to contact us, because just like our regional economic development team, we might see opportunity there, possibly with a cadetship program, depending on where the industry's setting or sitting, we could look at brokering some relationships. So if we think about a newly developed product or service that's not currently on the market, that's normally supported at the very R&D or the beginning phases. We'd normally see Callaghan or NZTE, New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, kind of coming in and backing a lot of those startups, and then we would try and come in and see where we can support that further. So there's definitely room in the criteria to support, especially product and services that ain't currently being serviced, and they've got quite the outcomes are there to support either Māori enterprise or the support is there to build the capability for just our communities and our region as well. Hence the relationship we have quite closely with our regional economic development team. But we like to hear from everybody, and of course we always try and find the best ways to engage with our whānau and be visible. I think is really important for our whānau, create safe spaces to have those conversations or that kōrero, and try and find ways where we can come in and support and tautoko. So kia ora rā.
Awesome. Is that a wrap for you two lovely ladies? Ka pai. So we just have a couple of questions and I can fire them out and you can pick who answers. We're not charging today for that. So here we go. First question. So in terms of investment application, is there a co-contribution expected from the businesses?
Oh, I can answer that one. Not necessarily. So depending on where the so-called the Māori Business Growth Fund, if the application that the Pākehī wants to, say for example, they want marketing or specialist advice there, it's really kind of, a lot of Pākehī might not be in a position to contribute to the application, and we can kōrero through that as well and build the application around that, pending also on how big the investment is. Obviously, as we start growing, if the investment or the ask of the application is quite a large amount, then we would expect some kind of contribution in kind from the Pākehī.
Cool. Thank you.
Also, I guess, sorry, if I could just jump in there too, for the cadetship program, like Maria said, there's no expectation to outline a co-contribution, but it does help your application to see what kind of aspiring investment or what current investment you do have within the professional development space for your kaimai. Yep. So like Maria said, some Pākehī aren't in the position where they can invest quite heavily into that professional development space, but being able to acknowledge use of resources and tools and facilities and what you would hope to be able to invest in your kaimai in the future is definitely good insight for when you're going through the assessment and application process.
Oh, cool, thank you. Next part, can you apply for Māori Business Growth Fund and the cadetship grant?
Yes.
We're both going to snap
and go.
Excellent. There is an answer. Yes, so you can. It's a good old yes. Perfect. And what support is there for Māori business startups?
So just for in terms of, I guess for the Māori enterprise, we try and stay quite closely connected with our government agencies, which is one of the benefits, I guess, of kind of being located here at head office because they were just within an arm's reach, like literally next door. So we try and make sure that brokering those relationships are really well cemented. So when we see Pākehī coming through and they might not meet the criteria for business growth support because they're at startup level, we'll be like, hey, this is what's going on and this agency, or this is what's available here. And also with the Māori business networks, and this is, I might just tag Janelle in on this kōrero with our Māori business networks as well, and trying to support what awesome mahi they're doing for business startups.
Perfect, thank you. Now we just had another one pop up. This part is, if I take on a cadet and they leave my organisation, do I have to repay the funds?
It's really a case by case kind of, you have to take things case by case. Obviously, there are going to be things out of your control, and what we usually consider when a cadet does leave an organisation is, hey, actually, have they left the organisation because they have been promoted into another really good role in another organisation, or have they left and taken their skills and created their own Pākehī? We have to really be able to look at the bigger picture and what the actual outcome is, because at the end of the day, we're working towards economic resilience. So if somebody has grown their capability to a point where they can step up to a senior role within an organisation or outside of an organisation, or by starting their own Pākehī, then that's still an outcome achieved. So it's definitely a case-by-case approach, really.
Awesome, ka pai. We also have another one. You guys are just a hot topic, just saying. And this one is, do I have to be Māori-owned business to offer a cadetship to my staff member?
Absolutely not. So we will consider applications from non-Māori businesses as well. We can't assume that all of our Māori workforce are in Māori businesses. There is a high correlation between Māori-owned businesses employing more Māori, but in the bigger scope of things, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have that larger pool of our Māori workforce within their books. So we will talk to anyone who's got kaimai Māori on their team that they want to grow.
Thank you so much. That is awesome. That seems to be a wrap from our questions. So thank you, ladies. I'm going to pass you back over to Angela. There we go, Ange. And ka kite.
Thanks, Melissa, and thank you, TPK team. It's been wonderful to hear about your support. Thank you for sharing that information. How does one get in contact with you, ladies, if they need to have a chat? Or if they've just got an inquiry, is there local offices that they can go to? Is it best to submit by the website? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Any doorway is a good doorway for us, whether it's through the regional office, and that's located around in our region, of course, or the website. The website, it's normally will go to like a national mailbox, but they'll ask what region you're in, and they'll make sure that someone close to you will pick up the inquiry. And like I said, we'll try and come in and support the best way we can.
And actually, just for my own curiosity, so that I know when I'm sharing the love out there, with regards to the Māori Business Growth Fund and the cadetship grants, how long does it take for the process to kind of get underway and then the funds to be distributed? Is there sort of an average time length that somebody should, that's sort of thinking about it, for them to get their ducks in a row and their expenses and bits and pieces aligned? What sort of time frame are they looking at?
For the Māori business growth, it's approximately 4 to 6 weeks, but it's really dependent on the availability of the Pākehī as well. And so when we go through like the needs assessment part, it's working, a lot of our Pākehī are actually doing the do. And they're just trying to find that time, to give an hour to sit down and do different assessments, or send the financials, which is one of the requirements to do our due diligence checks. So I'd say 4 to 6 weeks. If we can push it any sooner, of course we can. It's the appetite of the papihi.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the same for the cadetship fund as well. So that process can take anything from 6 to 9 weeks, and it's really at the availability of the business owner to be able to engage with us and be able to feel confident or get to a point where they're confident at submitting their application. So usually what happens is you'll go through an application build with your regional connect, so with your regional contact. That can take up to 2 weeks, and then that then goes to, once you've got your bits and pieces together and you submit it, it goes through a regional assessment, and then it goes for a national assessment, and then after that we look at contracting. And usually after something is contract, as mentioned in the slideshow, it's like a 6-month kind of report monitoring phase as well. So yeah, it's 9 weeks we give ourselves max, and then we start. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I guess that's probably, yeah, like you say, really dependent on the organisation itself and the amount of kind of time and resource that they can put into it alongside their operations. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that kind of satisfies my own curiosity, but also hopefully the questions that have come through from our audience. So thank you again so much for joining us. It's been really great to hear about those products and services. And so if you are a business that might want to make use of those products and services at a later date, you're not quite ready now, I have popped the details on screen for the Connected Employment Liaison Advisors in the Central North Island region. They will be able to be that conduit of connection through to TPK if you do need to access them at a later stage, or alternatively head straight over to the TPK website to be able to find the information there. Thank you. Briar has dropped the link into the chat, so feel free to copy that out. Digital Boost is part of this ecosystem that is helping small businesses in their growth journeys, and particularly in their digital transformation journeys and digital adoption capabilities. So if you are looking at starting that journey or are partway through, please sign up to Digital Boost and use our free learning resources on there. If you are an organisation that is doing digital well already and you've got a bunch of digital tools that help your business survive and thrive, please let us know, because we would love to showcase your business on our platform as part of our real world stories as well, to help you get exposure. And then additionally, we've got our free digital diagnostic tool Checkable available for you, which will help take stock of your current digital footprint and give you some quick wins as well. That does bring our session to a close. Once again, thank you to the team from TPK for joining us this afternoon. Thank you to my co-hosts. We do have one more session for today. At 3:15, we've got New Zealand Trade and Enterprise joining us, and then we will kick off day 2 of our conference tomorrow afternoon at just after midday with the Manawatu Business Chamber. So we're looking forward to seeing you in future sessions. Other than that, I do wish you all a wonderful afternoon, and thanks again for joining us.